monumental moves by Bitcoin so far. It is looking real strong. I don't need to tell all of you lot that. It's looking real strong. You all know this. You all know this, and it's been doing this. So let's have a look at what we've been doing. 20% drop over 60 days. 20% drop again over 60 days. And then here we had another 20% drop, but that was only over 2 weeks. But it was the same 20% drop that we've had at both of those areas here. We had it here, we had it here, and we've had it here. All right, cool. So that's what we've done so far. Last videos, you know that I've been talking about the inverse head and shoulders. I think a bunch of people's been talking about that inverse head and shoulders. So that met its target and then some, really. You know, let's draw the head, the neckline, sorry, and let's extrapolate that. So from the inverse head to the neckline, let's draw it out at the breakout, and it met that target and then some. It met that target and then some. I was actually thinking that it might create a small little cup and handle, so that would create the cup and then the handle, and we would sort of consolidate in that area before a potential breakout. But Bitcoin is too bullish for that. Too bullish for that. So bullish for that, in fact, that it just said no. It said no, I'm still gonna push out, and that's what it's done. So I draw out these two resistance points here, the two significant resistance points, and I've got my zigzags on. I'll fling on my WD Gantz in a minute, but you can see we're getting this resistance level here, which we had in December 2021, and that's looks like it's acting as resistance now. So this is Bitcoin in a daily chart. If I zoom in a little bit, let's look on the hourly chart. So you can see, yes, it's getting up against some resistance there. So that's as expected. Volume diminishing a little bit as we're hitting these resistance points as well. So that's quite interesting on these moves. Are we hitting some exhaustion? That's the question. Are we hitting some exhaustion? Everybody wants a pullback. Are we going to get a pullback? A pullback would be healthy. Are we going to get it? I don't know. Is there any sort of pattern I can see on this small time frame? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Yeah, I'm on the hourly chart, and yeah, there's not really a trend line I would put and be comfortable with, if you know what I mean. And doing it on such a small time frame usually leads to a lot more errors. But you know, you've kind of got a bull flag there, or bull pennant there. So potentially could break out again. It's definitely got a strength. It's definitely in the right pattern to do so. So we could extrapolate that out, and you know, where would that potentially lead to? Potentially lead to like 55k. Have we got any confluence of any resistance lines there? I don't think so. I don't think so. About here, nothing significant there. So I don't know about that. I don't know about that. If I was to just do it as a pattern. Let's throw on my indicators here. 4 hour. We're still printing off that bearish RSI divergence. We still are printing it. RSI is getting lower, and the price just continues to be getting higher, and that's on the 4 hourly. I believe it's doing it on the daily as well. We've got bearish RSI on the daily, on the weekly too. But RSI divergence can last for quite a while. It really can. That's just the thing about it. It can really last for quite a while. Yeah, you know, you can look back here in 2021. You know, we had weekly RSI divergence, and don't get it twisted. This is like 96. It's up here. It's very high. The RSI up here is about 94 before we printed this one at 88, and you can see the price is getting higher, and the RSI is getting lower. So yeah, what can I say? Who knows what's gonna happen? Who knows what's going to happen? All we can do is plot our resistance lines and place our support lines and place our bet. That's essentially all we can do. And then you just pretty much have to come up with your own thesis and place your bet based on that thesis. But from what I can see, we haven't lost a trend. The trend is your friend until the end, and this is really a good example of that. We haven't broken any of these all the way we was coming up. All right, so there's the low. The lows are getting higher. They're just getting higher. They're all getting higher. Pay particular attention to the white lines here as well. Okay, they're all getting higher. Higher. All right, this one broke down, but just touched on the 50%, just above the 50% level. I was looking at this 50% level for quite a while, and it did somewhat hit it, but it was only 2 weeks. I was expecting it to do 60 days like before, but 2 weeks and away she goes. So yeah, if I put it on the weekly, you can see this white line here. It hasn't even had any pullbacks. All right, the WD GAN swing has had that pullback on a shorter term time frame, but as for the weekly one, it's just straight up. It's straight up. I don't look at the monthly often, but let's have a look at the monthly. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, like just up. It's just up. So place your bet, really. Place your bet, guys. But resistance, yep, is still coming up at, what am I looking at? I am looking at resistance at 52,169. So let's see if Bitcoin can break through that. If it doesn't, it's very likely to at least what we could be seeing as its support points, back up my fibs, is this trend line that I have up here. And that's coming in at 48k, 48.5. We've also got the 50% as well. So we've essentially got a support area all throughout here. In fact, count the yellow line as well. So you got that horizontal resistance. Let's see if it flips to support. If it doesn't, we still have the 50% here. We've got the golden ratio here. And if not, we'll come down a bit more. We'll come down a bit more. And I've got this 50% drawn in from the current high to that last swing low, which is at 38k, that one there. And it could do that. Bitcoin could surprise us. Everyone's bullish right now. The greed is real high. It is forcing everybody in. It's forcing everybody in. Those who wasn't in, who's been waiting for a pullback, it's just forcing them in. Shorts liquidated, and it's just forcing you in, forcing people into the market who wasn't in, who was bearish all that time. So yeah, I feel it for you lot still if you weren't buying a bit earlier, but let's see how it goes. I'll have a look at it tomorrow, but not much to say. It's looking bullish. Let's quickly have a look. So just quickly off the bat, I can see total one 3.85%. It's just basically showing that Bitcoin's leading 3.85%. ETH slow, not far behind, 3.6, and then the rest of the altcoins 2.77%. So Bitcoin's leading. You can see it from the Bitcoin dominance. It continues to go up. I had my trend line coming here, so unorthodox trend line, but it does seem to be getting some resistance right here. We'll see how long that holds out. I imagine ETH's gonna have a bit of a run for a little bit, maybe. ETH BTC chart though, ETH still hasn't broken down this long trend line. It still hasn't broken this trend line here. This one that's been in place since September 2022, it has not broken it. So if you want to wait for the confirmation, wait till it gets out of the trend line and does a retest. Maybe that's something you want to go for. Or you wait for this monthly swing. Maybe it comes down here, comes further back down. And I imagine if Bitcoin ever does take a bit of a dump, then Bitcoin and the rest of the alts will follow suit, and it'll be nice to see it drop down to there. And that's when I'll get real bullish and move a lot of my Bitcoin over to the altcoins. So let's see how that goes over the next couple of days, really. But it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see how this week will play out, how this weekly close plays out, because we're at a big resistance point here. This is the 618. This is above the golden ratio, the long-term swing of the golden ratio. You can see it on my chart here. The top of the golden ratio is 49. And of course, Bitcoin is at 51. So we're up here. So let's see how the week closes as we draw closer to the end of the week. Does it continue to push out, or do we get a push back in? Because, you know, we're in uncharted territory here. We're 42% of the way into the bull market, and we have reached some heights. We have certainly reached some heights. We haven't retested, you know, these resistance points here. That would be ideal. It would be ideal if it was to just have a nice 60 to 90 days drawn out, 50%, even a deeper retracement to the 618. Get everybody shook when everybody's bullish right now. That would just freak out the entire market, reset the fear and greed index. That would be beautiful. That would be healthy. Whether it does it, I don't know. Not a lot of people seem to think so. And Bitcoin often does what? It goes against the herd. It can do it. But if not, then I'll enjoy the gains. I don't mind. I don't mind the gains. I've got more in the market than out of the market, so it going up is a good thing. But yeah, cool. Thought I'd do a quick update here in the evening before I hit the sack. So have a good evening.